Hello, hello, welcome, everybody. Welcome to this new edition of Business and Technology, one of our show that we have on this channel, where we talk about what matters to businesses and the technology that usually can help them achieve their goals and objectives. My name is Joel Boea, and I am an IT enthusiast. I love whatever it's related to IT, whatever is related to technology, and also whatever related to digital life, digital world. And when we talk about digital, we talked about anything that's connected to internet, but also anything that is on a computer, on a digital form. So today the topic is really how can you future-proof your IT investment? And this question came to my mind when I was talking to one of my friends who's an expert, who's a highly trained IT person with a lot of certificate from the biggest security providers. He has a lot of tools, a lot of certificate that he uses. And one of the common trend that we notice when we're exchanging is people most of the time tend to switch from one provider to another one, and sometimes investing more than what they thought they would be investing. And that is why we kind of think, we thought, and I thought and say, let me talk about what is the best way, or one of the ways, not the best way, one of the ways to future-proof your IT investment. But first of all, let me check if I have any comment here in the chat. No, not yet. And if you allow me to take a sip of water. Thank you. So, and let me see if I can present my screen here. Sorry. I'm going to bring... I don't have a lot of slides tonight, so it'll be mostly talking about giving you some hands up how we can do it. Hello, hello. Welcome. Sorry, I have something in my throat. Thanks for your patience. So let me share my screen. Okay, without any further delay, let me share my screen. And we'll be going. Okay. All right. Let me move myself. Sorry. I have something in my throat. Sorry about that. So, we are talking about how to future-proof your IT investment. And while I was doing some research, and I realized that you probably need to talk a little bit to understand first where it's coming from. And I put this together. I put this kind of agenda together, and I called it the future of IT investment. What most people do, and the equation, what is the equation? What is the right mix between all the different stakeholders involved in the IT, investing in the IT of any given organization? There is an equation, there is a right mix of interests that you need to put together to achieve what the organization's financial goals or any goals, objective that they have, but you need to put together the right mix of resources, of people, and technology to achieve that. But what matters the most It's what we're going to talk about tonight. So before we go any further, let me see if we have, okay. Hello, Dalia MTV. Thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. Yes. So you may wonder, how most people do it. When it comes to IT investment, most organizations, they will rely on sometimes what the CIO or sometimes what the CEOs, depending on the organization and the stage of the business manager or project management, expertise level they are. Depending on what stage they are they pretty new into managing project, or they probably are more experienced, so they know the best way to approach and tackle any project. That's how most people do it. So they'll start with either the idea comes from the CEO going to the team and project management, or sometimes the CEO is also the project management coordinator and saying this is what we need to do. And some organization will involve the IT person as a last resort after already having decided what they want to achieve, and then call the IT person and say, this is what we would like to do. Can you please tell us the best tool or the best technology that we can leverage to achieve this? That is one way some organizations do it. I'll say those are usually smaller teams and smaller organization that tend to work that way. Sometimes some large organization, they tend to go top down in terms of initiatives, in terms of project management and handling all that. Most of the experienced organization, what they'll do, they'll come with the idea, the project, and they say, this is what we'd like to do. And they go to their CIO or the IT person and say, how can we make this happen how can we make this happen? What is the most expensive, the must-have things that we need to do to achieve this? What we can go without, and what the ultimate setup that we need to achieve this. Those are two different ways, and there are probably other ways people do it, organizations do it, but it's usually a combination of different teams involved and deciding what kind of IT budget they can allocate for a specific project, be it the main company goal, which could be producing cars, for example, or producing some material, some other stuff. It always involves different people. Of course, you need to have a project manager, you need to have an IT coordinator, you need to have somebody who's knowledgeable about the technology required to do that. But the equation usually happens when you wonder and say, okay, how can we manage all these people? How can we put all these people together? How can we work with all these people, be it the CFO, the people in charge of finances, the IT people, the IT admin, and sometimes, you have the head of the IT department, and you have also other people involved to help achieve the project or manage the IT department. So the right mix, it's usually where project and companies succeed or fail in implementing IT project. Because if sometimes, and I've seen it through my career, to see some organization where it comes top down, and sometimes the head of the company has no clear idea of what is required, what's needed to achieve the goals that he's setting up for his company. He doesn't know. He just say, this is what I want, and you guys make it happen. And sometimes, they don't have the right people to do it. And sometimes they don't have the right equipment to achieve it. So that's why I think you need to have the right mix. It's an equation, juggling all these skills and talents, juggling the skills, talent, and goals, objectives, putting all that together, putting that in a mix and making sure that you're getting the right tools, the right people, the right resources to achieve your goals. And that is where sometimes you need to have a consultant, somebody coming from outside. And I've also experienced that most, not most, a lot of organizations, they trust consultants sometimes more than their own IT people. They rely on them more and say, oh, yeah, because he's a consultant, and now everybody calling themselves coach. And then, yeah, if it's a coach, and depending on how well is known, and, and now being on the streaming era where people they can become coaches because they have a large number of people following them. They can sell that and say, look at how many followers that I have, look at how many subscribers that I have on my channel, look at how many people come to my meetings, and you leverage that to present themselves as coaches. Some of them are good, and some are just pretending, and then they don't really do what they say they will do. But what matters the most is for any organization to understand that. And if you're going the route of hiring consultant to do that kind of things, to come up with a solution that can benefit your organization, that can help your organization achieve its goal, be it. But make sure that you're choosing the right people. You're choosing the right people to do the assessment of your needs, the assessment of your current situation, and giving you the right, suggesting you the right tools to achieve your goals. Because it matters a lot. Otherwise, and that's where we're getting to the third point, otherwise is you will not gain the full benefit of any IT investment with the wrong tools you decide to invest into. And you may end up doing what? After a year or two, switching to different vendors, switching to different tools, switching to different teams. Why? Because sometimes you did not properly assess the need, properly assess the different tools, the various tools that are being offered to you today in today's world. You didn't properly look at all the solutions that are available to help you achieve your goals. And you launch yourself in a position where, okay, because I read on internet, on Google, that this article by this person and so. I watched some video, I heard some presentation by some manufacturer. I mean, because that's what we do. We'll come and sell you on product. And some manufacturer and some salespeople, they'll only come and brag about what the product can do. And most of the time, they may not tell you what the product cannot do. Really, a few of the salespeople, really few of them can tell you up front, this is an area where we do not play. Very few people can do that. Why? Because I understand that they prefer to build value. They prefer to build relationship instead of just making a sales. Why? Because if you have an unsatisfied customer, guess what? It's not a repeat business. And in the sales business, you need repeat business, because if you have a satisfied customer, they are the first one to promote your product and services. They are the first one to go around and start telling people about what you have done for them, what your product can deliver. They are the marketers of what you're selling. And that is why it is important. That is why it is important really for you to start from the ground, understanding, yes, I'm going to hire a consultant, or I'm going to rely on my IT people. But how much do they know about the various vendors providing similar product or similar solutions? Why? Because I said it before, you may end up purchasing, investing in some equipment that may not benefit, and that will not. They may be great, okay? They may be great. Don't, you know, don't, I'll tell you the truth. Some products are great, but are they great enough for what you're trying to do? Are they the best for what you're trying to do? Or you went to get that product just because of the advertisement? You went to order that product or that solution because of recommendations, or because of the presentation, or because of the deal that you were given. Because sometimes deals can mislead you, and you may think that, yes, I'm getting a good deal, but in fact, that deal will not really help you achieve what you have in mind. And that is why it is important. And sometimes, yes, you can get the best tool. Let not be mistaken. You can get the best equipment. You can get the best of all. But do you have what it takes to properly manage and use that tool that you have acquired for your business? Think of it. Do you have the people who can properly use it, properly manage it, and take the most of it? That's a question that you should ask yourself. Why? Because you may be investing in some equipment and realize that you're not taking the full advantage of the equipment, and your money is gone. Your investment is gone. And because you're not taking the full advantage, and let me put it this way. Some in the video world, you have some video editors. They're great on Final Cut, okay, which is the Apple version. Some editors, they're great on Adobe Premiere. That's all they do. That's what they use all the time. And let's say, because of the advertisement, you choose either one of those two products that I mentioned. And unfortunately, the people that you have hired to do the job for you, they were not sufficiently trained on that software or that application, that tool. And because of life, they decide to leave the company. They decide to leave you and move on to a different organization. You bring another employee, you bring another staff member, and this staff member comes and tell you, oh, listen, boss, I see that you have Adobe Premiere, but I don't like Adobe Premiere, or I'm not really familiar with Adobe Premiere. I don't like it for XYZ reasons. I prefer to work with Final Cut Pro. So if you had already committed, you had a contract with Adobe Premiere subscription for a year, you've already paid for that. And then halfway, a new employee comes and tells you they don't like it. They don't like it. And they're asking you to get the other application. Your investment, your money is probably gone on that. It's gone. I'm taking a basic example, but just think about it in your respective areas, in your respective technologies that you may need for your business, for your business to run and achieve its goals. That can happen. But what if you sat down with the people that can use it and you start looking at the best, the easiest solution for your company? And not only that, how well your people are trained to use that technology that you're thinking about acquiring. Because to tell you the truth, most organizations right now, they usually have, the tools, they have the people, but they don't invest in the training of the people, of the IT admin sometimes. And I've seen it so many times. I've seen it so many times. Some organizations, yes, they are good at it. They make sure that the IT subject matter expert is on top of everything, is agnostic when it comes to whatever solution they need for their company. Some of them, they don't really take time, especially smaller organizations. They don't pay attention to those details. And what happened is, should that person that used to be qualified to handle that equipment or that application leaves the company, it leaves a big hole in the organization. But let me check the chat here to see how people are doing here. I see Master Electronic. Hello, 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 Master Electronic. Long time, long time. Oh, here's a comment. I don't think my project have a great revenue, but it's so advanced. I tried to explain it to people. They thought it was crazy. A lot of information dissipate. Yes, you're right. And I'd be interested to learn about your project. Okay. As we're talking about today, how do you make it future proof? How do you make sure that whatever you invest in that project or whatever equipment or whatever tool that you're going to use to achieve that goal through the project will last? And that is what matters tonight. And I hope by having this discussion, you will gain something. As we say, there are ways people do it. Some do it top down and some go bottom up when it comes to project management. Why? To get either they have a vision and you go through the vision, or they have bottom up where they make sure that everybody involved and they get the right tools that they need to achieve what is asked of them. Different approaches. And then the equation, as we say, it's really the right mix, getting the right people with the right resources to properly work together and mix them together and get the result. And we saw that the reason it's important is because to avoid losing, to avoid investing in tools or technology that will not last, but you already paid for it. So having that, it's not just a matter of vision. Yes, you have a vision, Master Electronic. You may explain to people, and sometimes it's as a leader, you may need to take a step back. And one of the tool that I sometimes recommend to people is record yourself doing that presentation. Record yourself presenting your project to other people and watch it. Watch yourself presenting and ask yourself, am I convincing enough to the people? Because if you're not convinced yourself, if you're not clear enough for yourself, how much more are you not clear for the other people, for any audience? Let me hear that. So those are other things that you may consider in a way to do it, in a way that you approach sharing your project. Otherwise, you'll be spending a lot of time presenting to various people, but because you're going in the same direction, the same way, and gaining less traction. Because people may realize that they're not getting it. They're not getting what you're trying to say. They're not getting what you're trying to sell. And there's nothing really wrong to tape yourself, to videotape yourself. Take your phone or take whatever camera, put it in front of yourself, record yourself. If you have lights, you have a nice setup, do it. And then try to be as much convincing as you can be. Because you need to make sure that people understand what you're saying and people understand what you're trying to get them to do. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to get them to do something for you. Like what I'm trying to do here is trying to get you to think about how you can future-proof your IT investment. And one of the way, and this is probably where we're going, is making sure that your people are trained. Your people are trained. You gave them adequate training. And not only the training, but ensuring that you have support from the manufacturer, from the vendor. What kind of enablement they have? What kind of enablement program they have, they offer for whoever would like to use a tool. Right now, in the field that I am, in the video industry, videography, streaming, if you go on YouTube, you'll see almost all of them, all the apps, all the vendors, all the manufacturer, camera, whoever, sound, microphone, light, they all providing training. They're all providing sessions, sometimes free sessions, to enable users to embrace the product. Why? Because the more information the main users get about the product, the better they become, and they become your ambassador. And as a consumer, as an IT CIO, as an IT administrator, coordinator, you need to make sure that your people are exposed to various equipment, various tools. Why? Because the reality is what? We tend to lean on what somebody that we like has suggested, or because this person I value, I value their opinion, and if they tell me, oh, to have this great sound, you need to have this microphone, and without sometimes thinking, I'll just go and get that microphone. But the reality is what? The reality is not all microphones will sound good for me and in my environment. Yes, it may sound great for many people in their environment, but their environment is different from mine. That's why you see some people, they invest $300 to purchase a microphone, and they realize it's not working for them. And unfortunately, sometimes the return window has already expired, so they can no longer return that equipment. So they stuck with that investment. They purchase something and realize it's not working for them. Why? It's because one of the mistakes people make is because they did not take time to listen to different opinions. They made a decision based on the presentation that was made. They made a decision based on the relationship that they have with a specific salesperson. Yes, they decide, okay, because I like what Joel is saying, so whatever Joel is proposing or suggesting, I'll go for it. But I'm telling you about my experience. As a salesperson, I'll tell you about my experience. Will that be yours? No, maybe not. And that's where a consultant becomes important, because a consultant can tell you, what about we rent it and we test it in your environment before making the final decision? And that's where some solution providers, some manufacturers, some software, they will give you a trial period, so for you to try them out. And especially in today's world, I say, slow down. Before making any purchase, slow down. Sometimes think and try. Ask them, can you try? What is the return window? How many days do I have before I can return it? How many days I have of a free trial? And what kind of features that are included in the free trial? Do you give me the full spectrum of features that your product has to offer, or it's limited? All these things to get you started, to make sure that you understand what it offers and you test it in your environment. Because anything that people can present to you on paper look good. Anything, all I'm telling you, anything, depending on how I like to put it, anything that I can present to you will look good. It will look good. If I want to play with your emotions and with your attention. I know your persona. I can make it pleasing to you. But does it really matter to you? Does it really help you achieve your goals? That's why you need to understand. Otherwise, guess what? You invest, you buy, because you saw me, you saw my presentation, you saw the paper that I shared with you, and then realize that it's not working for you. Ah, too bad, too sad, too late. Why? Because my return policy is 15 days or 7 days or whatever days. Or if you have a contract for 1 year, unfortunately, we gave you a discount, so we cannot refund you your the remaining month of the contract. Unfortunately, in reality, it doesn't happen. But I'm giving you some tips on what to consider, and having the right people in your team in the equation will help you avoid that. Will help you avoid making rash decision when it comes to IT investment. But because some of the investments, once you made them, it's not easy. It's not easy to return. And I'll take an example. There are some parts, some car parts, for example, if you need automobile thing, and you do your own repairs and you do your own stuff, you do your own repairs on your car, it's easy to get an engine delivered to your home. If you have space and all that, it's easy. But now try to get it back. Let's say you want to return it. The seller, whoever sold it to you, can say, no problem, yes, you can return it. But now getting it back to them may become a problem, because you need to get insurance, you need to get XYZ stuff to make sure that it's properly returned. This could have been avoided if you had the right information at the beginning, and making sure that whatever you're purchasing, you're investing into, will stay for a long period of time. You use it as it should. Same thing in all area. You need to make sure that your people are trained on the equipment. Your people are trained on the tools. Your people are trained beyond a brand. Your people are trained on the essential, because regardless of what software can do, there are always the common ground for all of them, what they all can do. And if your people know what all those software can do, guess what? You probably already achieved 60 or 70% of your order. You already overcome a lot of your problems. And then you can then take advantage of digging deeper in the knowledge of whatever tool or you've invested into. You make sure that your people are trained. You make sure that they're getting the support they need to increase the knowledge of the product. And that is how you can achieve that future proofing of your IT investment. Isn't it simple? Yes, you'll tell me, okay, I have a large enterprise, and it's decision have to be made at a higher level, and there are a lot of things. But as a CIO or an IT person in charge of the IT in any organization, keeping in mind that the people that are going to use it are the ones that are going to help you achieve your goals using that tool. So investing in their training, making sure that they train, giving them enough time to train is important. Making sure that they're up to date in the credentials, in the certifications, it's really important. And making sure that they learn about other products. They learn about competitive product of whatever you're using, so they know and they can alert you what is the best, what's coming. And if possible, being part of the advisory group of any of those manufacturers. Why? To request feature, to request new feature, to request new functionalities of whatever tool they're using. Because if they know what's the limitations of the tool, the limitation of the software, and if they are part of the advisory committee to that manufacturer or the vendor, it can help. And guess what? If the manufacturer is nimble enough to make adjustment, who's going to benefit most of it? It's your people, your team, because you identified a problem and you have advised the manufacturer and request a feature added to their tools. That's how you can achieve it. That's how you can make sure that your investment is future-proof. Is it the best way? No, but that is one of the ways that I've noticed through my discussions with my good friend. And we realize that most IT projects fail because of the people. Because of the people and because of the people involved and the people who are supposed to manage to handle that tool. Some of them, they were not properly trained. One guy was trained, but not the whole team. And then guess what? The person that was trained leaves the company and nobody else to train them. But if you invest in the training for the people that are going to use it, and you make sure that you are exposed to everything, to competitors as well, of whatever manufacturer you choose, you make sure that you're getting the most of your money. And when you get the most of your money, when you invest in anything, you can relax, because you will realize that your investment can last longer. All right? Before we end up, I'd like to share this quote by Pearl Zhao. And it's really include everything. Can I resume everything? Most of the time when people invest in tools, it's never cheap. I'm telling you, it's never cheap. You can be a videographer, you can be a hairdresser, you can be a baker, you can be sales company, whatever your industry are, whatever your field is, an investment tool, IT investment, is never cheap. It costs money. And you need to make sure that it's properly done. And she's saying, this author that I discovered, she's saying that planning, performance, process, people, information, those are an innovation. Always keeping that in mind, the people and information, because the more knowledge they have about any given tool, the better it is to help you achieve your goals. So if you still have any questions, do not hesitate to let me know. Do not hesitate. Reach out. Let us know how we can help. And we'll be more than happy. We'll be more than happy to assist you. My phone number is there at the bottom of the screen. And if you enjoy what we said, if you enjoy what we shared, please do not hesitate to share it with the people that you know around you. And buy us a coffee to show appreciation to what we're doing. Until next month, as a matter of fact, this is probably a way to let you know that this show, the Business and Technology, I'll be moving into a monthly show, so it'll be once a month. So to give me a little time to spend with the family, especially now with all the restrictions that have been removed. So a lot of activities out and a lot of going out happening. So it's really hard for me to be here on a weekly basis. So for now, I'll keep it on a monthly basis. And if things change, I may come back to, let's say, bi-weekly or weekly again, but it'll depend. But for now, we're moving to a monthly basis. So until next month, take care, and I will see you next time. All right? Again, It was Joel, your digital guy in the digital world, your digital person. I don't like the word coach, so I'm your guy. So if you have any questions or any ideas, tell me, share them with me, and we'll be able to talk and see how we can expand on it. All right, take care. Bye.